We're going to do a quick demonstration on how to download data from IPUMS. The first thing you need to do is go to IPUMS.org, which I've done. You'll see that IPUMS has a range of data sources for you. We're going to work with IPUMS USA today, but be aware that the current population survey, international data, health data, historical GIS, environmental data, and in particular time use data will be very important for you if you're in marketing, because it tell you how people are using their time. So know that there's a lot to IPUMS as you use it. Move to IPUMS. Always helps to log in when you first get there. You've already got an account, so you'll use the account. I'm just going to select data. I'm not going to select all the data that's in your assignment, but I'm going to just select a few variables. I always like to get the geographic variables because I will find that I'm going to use those at different times. I always get the state FIPS code and the county FIPS code, and I always get whether or not they have metropolitan status or not. I get a couple economic household characteristics, and we'll get the annual property tax and insurance cost for the house. We get a couple personal pieces. We'll get some demographic information. Sex and age are almost always variables that you want to get. Marital status is often a variable that you want. We get income data. Get total income and total family income and wage and salary income. And that should be enough for now. You can always get more data, so never hesitate to get more data, but I want to do this quickly. We're going to then select the samples that we want. IPUMS defaults to having you select a large set of samples. I always uncheck this and say, no, I want some very specific samples. So in this case, I'm going to take 2015, 2010, 2005, and look at data over a 15-year period. I'm going to submit those sample selections. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to view the cart, and I also am probably going to want to reduce the size and do some adjustments and reduce the size of the data set, as well as set up the sample. I wasn't paying attention, and annual property tax and insurance costs are not included in these samples. So that data will not come down when I download this. So just know that you have to check whether or not the data actually is there. What I'm going to do is create the extract. And there are a couple things you need to pay attention to. One is the data format. If you're working in Excel, you want to use a comma delimited format, and that will allow Excel to open it up easily. If you're working in SPSS, you want to use the SPSS format. Know that the first time that you do it, it's going to say no additional formats, which means this. It will mean that your data will come down in raw form, and you need to write code in order to get it out. Oftentimes, this is a sticking point for students. I'm going to use SPSS because I often use SPSS, but know that if you're going to use Excel, you need to use the comma delimited piece. Click Submit. Now, this particular extract is 615 meg. That's not a terribly big piece, but one of the things you may want to think about doing, particularly for this class, because we can use smaller samples, is just to shrink the size. This is in the assignment, but the smallest you can make these are 10,000 households. And I often do that for demos and classroom work with students. If I'm doing my own work, I usually leave the samples at the full size. For your semester project, you may want to leave the samples at the full size, but you see that we reduced it from 615 meg to 200, actually that's to 4.5 megabytes. And so it's significant reduction in size. And once you have your data format selected, you've changed the size to the appropriate size that you want. You want a rectangular data structure. You have the number of variables and samples. Always describe your extract. And I've done that there. Click Submit Extract. And then you'll come to this screen. And we're going to wait a few minutes. We're going to pause here and wait a few minutes for these two pieces to come down. You'll see that the extract is now ready. And simply right-click, save the file. Move it onto this screen. Open it with 7-zip. And the file is there as an SPSS file. And that's how to download and extract IPUMS data.